Welcome to the deep dive, where we take that fire hose of information you shared and distill it into the actionable insights you actually need.
Today, we are deep diving into something well, it's deceptively simple.
So simple, in fact, it's called atomic, but it has the power to absolutely redefine your personal trajectory, your professional one, really the whole thing. We're talking about the mechanics of lasting change.
Exactly. This deep dive is based on an analysis of material from James Clear's Atomic Habits. And our mission here is, I think, pretty critical. We're trying to move beyond just, short-lived motivation.
Right, like those big New Year's resolutions that are gone by February.
We want to focus on the reliable, sort of invisible systems that actually transform who you are and make good habits automatic.
And the power of these tiny adjustments it's genuinely shocking. Okay, let's just jump into this analogy that really stuck with me.
The plane.
The plane. Imagine it's flying from New York to Los Angeles. But just before takeoff, a mechanic makes this tiny, tiny adjustment to the nose. We're talking 3 degrees, about 80 inches.
It seems like nothing. I mean, an hour into the flight, you look out the window, you're not going to notice a thing. You're still flying west.
But if you keep flying that straight line for the entire trip, you don't land in Los Angeles.
Not even close.
You end up hundreds of miles off course, closer to Tijuana, Mexico. That tiny, almost unnoticeable change completely alters the destination.
And that's the core idea right there. We think success has to be this one massive transformation. But the truth is, it's found in those tiny incremental improvements. That 3-degree shift is your 1% change.
And this is where it gets, for me, really interesting, the compounding math.
Uh-huh.
If you commit to getting just 1% better every single day for 1 year, it doesn't just add up. It multiplies.
It compounds to what, almost 38 times better?
37.78 times better, to be precise. It's this exponential growth that's so hard to see in the moment.
Well, that's the nature of compounding. The results are delayed. For weeks, maybe months, you feel like you're putting in all this effort for nothing.
Yeah.
But the reverse is also true.
Right. Being 1% worse every day.
It brings you dangerously close to zero. And these effects, they work for you with knowledge or skills, or against you with stress or debt.
So if that's the destination, that 38x improvement, how do we build the system to get there? We have to start by confronting the big reason most of us fail.
We're focusing on the wrong thing. We focus on goals, not systems.
Exactly.
I mean, conventional wisdom says set big, specific goals. Lose 30 pounds, write a book, you know the drill. But the source material points out some really critical flaws with that approach.
What's the first one?
Successful and unsuccessful people often have the exact same goals. The goal itself isn't the thing that separates them.
That's such a powerful point. Everyone wants to win the championship.
Everyone does. It's the daily process that's different.
So wait, does that make the goal totally irrelevant then? I mean, should we just throw out the idea of hitting a revenue target?
No, not at all. Goals are good for setting a direction. But systems are what are best for making progress. They serve different purposes. The second flaw is that achieving a goal, it only changes your life for a moment.
Ah, like a marathon runner.
The marathon runner, your whole focus is the finish line. Once you cross it, your motivation just evaporates. The goal is done, so you slide back into old routines.
Okay, I see. So the goal is the result, but the system is the repeatable process that gets you there. And the argument is, if you ignored your goals completely and just focused on the system,
You'd still succeed, eventually. And that's where we get to the idea of atomic habits.
these small, simple routines.
Exactly. The little behaviors that accumulate over time, they're the building blocks.
Yeah.
And to make them stick, we have to look past the outcomes.
We have to look at the 3 layers of behavior change, and most people start at the wrong end. They start with layer 1, outcome.
Losing weight, winning a championship, that kind of thing.
The second layer is process, which is what you actually do. The daily reading habit, the workout routine.
But the most effective change, the change that lasts, comes from the third and deepest layer. Identity. What you believe about yourself. Who you want to become.
So it's not, I want to run a marathon, it's, I want to become a runner.
Precisely. The goal isn't just to write a book. It's to become a writer. When the change is tied to your identity, the behavior just follows.
Every time you do a workout, you are an athlete.
You're casting a vote for that identity.
Yeah.
And those votes, over time, they determine your trajectory.
That reframes the whole thing. It makes the process meaningful, even on the bad days. Okay, so now we know what to focus on. We need to understand the mechanism, the foundational habit loop.
Right. A habit is just the brain's way of solving a problem with the least amount of effort. It's about automation.
And that automation happens through a cycle, a loop.
It's a continuous feedback loop. Cue, then craving, then response, and finally reward. The cue is the trigger. The craving is the motivation. The response is the action. And the reward satisfies the craving and tells your brain, hey, do that again.
Let's use an example, a positive one. The cue. You just finished dinner. The craving. You want a clean kitchen.
Your response. Get up, rinse the dishes, put them in the dishwasher.
And the reward is that satisfying feeling of a clean counter. The job's done, loop reinforced.
Or a negative one we all know, the cue. Your mind goes blank at work, you hit a wall.
The craving. You want to get rid of that feeling of frustration. You want a distraction.
Response. Check social media. Reward. You satisfied that craving. You feel a little less frustrated, just for a moment.
And what's so dangerous is that these things chain together. Checking your email becomes the cue to check the news, which cues Instagram, and suddenly...
Every minutes are gone.
Yeah.
And it all started with one little cue.
Yeah.
Cues get associated with rewards very, very strongly, so we need to hijack that loop.
And that's where the 4 laws of behavior change come in, starting with the first one, which targets the cue. Law number 1 is, make it obvious.
You know, it's fascinating because most of our habits are unconscious. They're just running in the background.
Like fate.
Exactly. There's that Carl Jung quote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You have to see the scripts before you can rewrite them.
So how do you make them conscious?
You start with what's called a habit scorecard. It's simple, but it takes some effort. You write down everything you do in a day, from waking up to sleeping.
And you just label them.
Yeah, just label them, positive, negative, or neutral. The key here is you're not judging, you're not changing anything yet. You're just observing.
Okay, observation first. Then what? I assume you need to get specific because I'll read more is just, it's too vague. It's not a real plan.
Vagueness is the enemy. That's where you use an implementation intention. It's a formula. I will behavior at time and location.
I will read for 15 minutes at 6 a.m. in the living room.
Perfect. That specificity creates a mental trigger. It moves an idea into a concrete plan.
And you can build on that by attaching the new habit to an old one, right? That's habit stacking.
Yes. The formula is, after current habit, I will new habit. So after I brush my teeth, I will stretch for 5 minutes. The trick is, the current habit has to be something you do automatically, without fail.
All of this seems to point to one central idea. The environment is everything.
It's the invisible hand. Motivation is, frankly, overrated. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than your willpower does.
So for good habits, you make the cues obvious. You leave the guitar out, you put water bottles all over the house.
And for bad habits, you make the cues invisible. Put your phone in another room, hide the junk food where you can't see it.
I really like the idea of one space, one use. Our brains build strong associations. If your couch is for Netflix and pizza, trying to work there is an uphill battle.
You're fighting the context. So yeah, assign zones. This desk is for work. That chair is for reading. It dramatically reduces the friction to get started.
Which brings us perfectly to the second law, which targets the craving. We have to make it attractive.
Right, because having an obvious cue isn't enough if you don't actually want to do the thing. And that desire, that's driven by dopamine.
Ah, dopamine, the motivation molecule.
But here's the key thing from the research.
Yeah.
Dopamine isn't just released when we experience pleasure. It's released when we anticipate it.
So the craving is what drives the action.
Yes. For a gambler, the spike comes before they place the bet. When you see the icon for Instagram on your phone, you get a surge of dopamine in anticipation of what you might see.
So we need to make our hard habits more attractive, more desirable.
And the best way to do that is a technique called temptation bundling.
This is where you pair something you need to do with something you want to do.
Exactly. You leverage the desire for the fun thing to pull you through the hard thing. The classic example is you bundle working out, the need, with watching your favorite show, the want.
But the rule is you can only watch that show when you're on the treadmill.
Right. Suddenly, the anticipation of the show makes the workout seem much more attractive.
Another big one is group influence. We are social creatures.
Massively. If you want a habit to be attractive, join a culture where it's the normal behavior. Want to read more? Join a book club. Your desire to fit in will pull you along.
And this taps into something deeper, these primal motivators. Our craving to check Instagram isn't really about Instagram.
No, it's a surface craving. It's a manifestation of a deeper human desire. The desire to connect with others, to get social approval, to reduce uncertainty.
That's a huge insight. These platforms aren't creating new motivations, they are just perfectly engineered to exploit the ones we've had for millennia.
So to make a hard habit attractive, you have to reframe it. Connect it to one of those deep motives. Fitness isn't fatigue, it's health, vitality, self-respect. Saving money isn't sacrifice, it's future freedom and security.
And for a bad habit, you do the reverse. You make it unattractive. Remind yourself that mindless scrolling is just lazy consumption. It detracts from your identity as a producer.
Which leads us to the action itself, the response phase. And law number 3, make it easy.
This one is all about reducing friction. Habit formation is a numbers game. It's about repetitions, not about time.
That's it. Every rep strengthens the neural pathway. And the law of least effort is always in effect. The more energy a habit requires, the less likely you are to do it.
So you prime the environment, you lay out your workout clothes the night before, you're making it easier for your future, less motivated self.
But the killer strategy here, the one that really builds momentum, is the 2-minute rule.
Which feels so counterintuitive. You scale the habit down to something that takes 2 minutes or less.
Yes, your goal is to run a marathon. Your new habit is putting on your running shoes and stretching for 2 minutes.
Your goal is to read for an hour a day.
Your new habit is to read 1 page. The point is to master the art of showing up. Motivation almost always comes after you start, not before. Anchor the routine first.
And to break a bad habit, you just flip it. You increase the friction. Make it impractical.
Unplug the TV after you use it, take the batteries out of the remote, and put it in a drawer upstairs. Make that temptation require actual effort. If you spend too much online, leave your credit card in the car.
Okay, so that brings us to the final phase, the reward. And the last law is maybe the most important for making it stick. Make it satisfying.
It is the most important rule. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. This is what tells your brain to complete the loop.
And it solves that core mismatch. Good habits have delayed rewards, bad habits have immediate ones.
Exactly. So we have to find a way to bring a little bit of immediate pleasure to our good habits.
And one of the simplest ways is with visual measurement. We need to feel like we're making progress.
Yes, that little feeling of success signals that the effort was worthwhile. So you use a habit tracker. You move a paperclip from one jar to another. You just cross a day off a calendar. That act of crossing it off is the immediate reward.
What about when you mess up? Because life happens.
Life always happens. The key is not to let one slip up derail you. The rule is simple. Never miss twice.
If you miss a day at the gym, you make sure you get back there the next day, no matter what.
Even if you only do 10 sit-ups instead of 50, you just show up. You have to restore the chain.
And to break bad habits, you need to make them immediately unsatisfying. You introduce immediate pain.
And the best way to do that is with an accountability partner and a habit contract.
Because we hate looking bad in front of other people.
We're wired to seek approval. So you create a contract, written or verbal. It specifies the punishment. If I skip my workout, I owe you $20. Immediately. That short-term pain is way more powerful than some vague, long-term regret.
Okay, let's put it all together. Let's build a system for a common goal. Say, starting a workout routine.
Okay. Law 1, make it obvious. You use your implementation intention. I will work out at 6 a.m. in the living room. Then you prime the environment. Your dumbbells, your mat, your clothes, all laid out the night before.
Then law 2, make it attractive. You use temptation bundling. You can only listen to your favorite podcast while you're working out. And you reframe the identity. I get to build strength.
Law 3, make it easy. You use the 2-minute rule. The goal is just to put on your workout clothes and stretch. That's it. That anchors the routine. And you increase friction on distractions. No phone until it's done.
And finally, law 4, make it satisfying. The immediate reward is crossing the day off your habit tracker. And you have an accountability partner you text a photo to when you're done for that social reward.
Now for a bad habit, getting off social media. Law 1, make it invisible. Delete the apps. Turn off notifications. Make your phone boring.
Law 3, make it easy to avoid. So you increase friction. You leave your phone in a drawer in another room while you work.
Exactly. And law 4, unsatisfying. You've reframed the identity scrolling as for consumers, you're a producer, and you have your habit contract. If your partner catches you scrolling during work hours, you owe them $10.
The entire system just lines up. It makes the good path the easy, attractive path, and the bad path the difficult, painful one.
That's the whole game.
So what does all this mean for you, the listener? I think the core lesson here is that success isn't about some massive, heroic act of willpower.
No, it's the product of small daily habits. It's
It's
about designing a system using these four laws that makes those habits stick.
And you have to remember the valley of disappointment. When you first start, those 1% changes are, well, they're invisible. They feel pointless.
You have to be patient. You have to push through that period where the work is happening, but the results aren't obvious yet. You have to trust that compounding is working its magic under the surface.
That patience is so key. We talked earlier about how our habits are modern solutions to ancient desires for connection, status, certainty.
And how platforms have gotten so good at leveraging those desires to capture our attention.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Take a look at your most productive systems, the good habits you already have, and ask yourself, what ancient desire is that system satisfying for you? Is your daily writing habit really about your need for status? Or is it about reducing uncertainty in your career?
If you can understand that fundamental why, that primal motive that's really driving the behavior, you can use it to design an even more robust and even more satisfying system for change, one that will stick long after the initial burst of motivation has faded away.